Hey y'all, welcome back to Bombtastic Gaming. I'm Jake. Thank y'all for tuning in and all the support. It is greatly appreciated. But if you haven't already, you know the drill. As always, hit the like, the subscribe, and ring that bell so you can get notifications when videos like this drop. Okay, so for this one, we are going to cover the board game. There you go. Betrayal at the House on the Hill. So we're just going to go into the overview, kind of how the game played. This board game is a lot of fun because there is a lot of uniquely like different scenarios that can happen. You're not going to get the same board, like the same game environment each time you play this. It's very different. But I hope y'all enjoy that. And without wasting any more of your time, here y'all go. Okay, so now that we have the game kind of initially set up, I'll cover like all the pieces. So there are 8 dice. They are six-sided, but they have 2 blanks, 2 1 dots, and 2 twos. There are 8 of them, all that way. You set up, so the game comes with like this is the strategy guide. It's the basic one. This is the one you need like for the game period. And like some of the basic rules. These two are specific to the second half of the game, and I'll get into that a little later on as the game flows. So the initial setup is you have your pile of tokens of all kinds over here. You have 6 characters to choose from, and they each have 4 abilities, 2 of which are called physical and 2 are called mental. There is speed, might, sanity, and knowledge. It's like I said, 6 characters. However, they're flippable, so they kind of give different abilities. So for the setup, though, I just picked this Heather Granville character. So we'll zoom in so it'll focus up. And as I showed, see, she has the speed, the might, sanity, and knowledge. Now, it might be hard to see, but there's numbers that are kind of like greenish. Those are the starting base numbers for each character. And you put these little black markers on here, and they can slide. And you just slide them. You can gain and lose the abilities. And each one. So if you take like a mental damage, like what I said, you can pick between sanity and knowledge and move them down or up if it says mental, and then if it says physical, you can do the same with might and speed. Sometimes there might be a specific where it's like you lose like might. I'll explain in a little bit how you lose and gain some of it sometimes. So in the first half of the game, the objective is to just kind of explore the house on the hill, as you call it. There is a second part, the haunt, and we'll get into that. And then that's when players can die. So in the beginning, before the haunt starts, if your character would keep losing, they don't get, like so for the sanity, right? You see 3, 3, and 3, and then the skull. So if I was to lose abilities, I can't lose past the that skull in the beginning. But in the second half, when the haunt starts, I can, once it hits the skull, it's able to, and once it hits the skull, the character is dead. So then there's these 3 decks, item, event, and omen. You will draw from one of those once you get a new room. So we'll zoom in here again, and I'll kind of explain it. So you start off in this 3. Each of these are rooms, even though it's one piece. And you take these 2 tiles out of the stack. It is the upper landing and the basement landing. They go off to the side. Now there's a card that allows you that you can add that gets you to the basement. The upper landing is connected by the stairs here. So you can, you just set it off the side like this. And then if you were moving, you can move into this room and then up the stairs and then start a like upper level. So that matters when you're exploring. You move based on your character's speed on the thing. So let's see, there we go. So see, my character's starting off speed is 4. So on my turn, I can move my character 4 spaces. So I could do like 1, 2, go up the stairs, 3, and start exploring a room, or I could explore off to the side. Now to do that is, so like I'm on the ground floor. We'll zoom in again. So you can see the board. These little yellow things indicate an open door. So what would happen is, like, we'll just start with the entrance hall, and I know it's not my matching character, but I'll just pick it because it's the bigger one and you can probably see it better. But so say I start on my turn and I want to move 4 spaces. Well, I'll go into the first room, and so you have this stack of rooms. Well, I'm on the ground floor, so I can pick it. It will highlight where this can go, ground or basement, and then see basement. So like if this was the top tile, like this, and I were to go in the room, well, I just put it in the discard pile, flip over the next. Now, so, excuse me, sorry. So what happens is, now I reveal the kitchen. So it has, come on, there we go. See, it has 2 doors and that little bird symbol, which is the omen symbol. I will explain that here in a second. So what would happen is, now because if I explore a new room, when a symbol like that indicates, what happens, or what that means is that I have to draw that card. Now during your turn, you can move, do actions, and split it up. You don't got to just move 4 spaces. Like if there's stuff in a room, you can stop and do it. However, once you open a new room, you have to draw like the card of the symbol. So I would draw an omen card, and then I would follow the instructions on this omen card. So there it is, so that you can pause it and read it. But this says the ring, a battered ring with the incomprehensible inscription. If you attack an opponent that has a sanity trait, you can attack with sanity instead of might. Your opponent then defends with sanity, and damage is mental instead of physical. Make a haunt roll now. So this omen card basically, because you can't attack until the haunt starts, so it wouldn't do anything other than make a haunt roll. So that's how the haunt ends up getting started, is by rolling these omen, or getting these omen cards. So what would happen is, you, in the haunt, you specifically roll 6 dice. Now, we've only drawn one omen card, so all I have to do is when I roll, I would have to roll at least a 1. So like, see, I rolled, we'll zoom out just a little bit, and see, I rolled a 4, 5, 7. So like, I'm good. No haunt starts. And then each character explores. Now, like I said, because I drew a card, that would be the end of my character's like movement, and I can't move anymore. Now I can do like other things if I had like, like a different card or item that said that. I kind of explained the attacks. So the attacks are all physical, and unless it specifically says like that card, I could choose sanity. If a character like has no sanity, or you can't like take it away from them or battle them, or it was like that. It explains it more in the rule book better than I can. I'm sorry. There are weapons that you can get. Now, and you can move past any character. The game is basically in the first half just exploring. In the regular rules, so here I'm kind of turning to it. Maybe it'll focus up on one specifically. So like, see the collapsed room? It has special instructions that you would have to read once you get to that room. There's only a couple rooms that are like that you need to read when doing this. Alright, so I'm sorry. So what will happen is, once you start rolling the haunt, there will be a point where you have so many omen cards that are revealed, and you roll less than the number revealed. So what that would trigger is what is called the haunt, the second part of the game. So what happens is you're not supposed to look at this book until the haunt begins. But the first page is the haunt chart. So it'll tell you. And then in here, let's see, we'll just maybe, yeah, that's better. So like it'll show what room it happened. And then at the top up here is like the card that was drawn. So that omen card that I just revealed was called the Ring. See? So the top right there, it says the Ring. I know it's not focusing out very well. So what would happen is, like, if that was the one, I'd be like, okay, so the kitchen. So I find the kitchen on the chart, which is this gray little line right here. And then I would go over to the Ring, which would then be right here. So 41 is the number. Come on, there we go. See, 41 is the number. So what that would mean is I flip through the book for the haunt, 41. And it'll say right there. So we're the invisible traitor. So what would happen is each haunt has how they determine the traitor. So there are some where it's like it's known who the traitor is, and then like that one, the invisible traitor, you don't know who it is. It explains the whole setup. And then so what happens in the haunt is whoever is the traitor, it's that person's job to take out all of the other explorers that were a part of the team. You can still explore rooms during the haunt. So like even if like this was the beginning and we haunted like from the start, the characters could start exploring the room. But how the turn order is supposed to go is, so whoever the traitor is, the person to their left starts off, which would be like the first hero. So they start the turn order off. And then everyone goes in like starting left, going clockwise, so that the evil traitor is the last person to go. Now there are certain haunts that have like monsters that are a part of it. So the traitor has like two turns. His own turn, or sorry, that traitor's own turn, whether his or hers, and then the monsters will go. And so the monsters cannot be killed. And if you want to escape, like say there's a monster in a room and you want to keep going and you don't want to necessarily fight it, you need to have like, so if we'll just use these as an example, these two rooms right here. So like if I was in the foyer and I wanted to go to the underground lake, but I have two movement, I can't go one, two. You need an extra one to get past them. So I would need a movement of 3 to actually get into the underground lake. And then the monsters, like I said, they cannot be killed, but they can be stunned. So if they were to like technically be killed, you have these little tokens right here that represent the monsters. Oh, come on. There we go. Maybe. Come on, focus on the hand. No, it's not wanting to work. But so it basically, it represents whatever monster there is. So there's like tentacles, there's vampires, and then it flips over and there's an S like stamped on it. And so when it's stunned, you just flip it over, and then on its next turn, that monster doesn't get to go. And then each haunt, so for winning and losing the game, each haunt tells like how it, you win, like for this one, pay the piper. It says you win, you either kill all the heroes or complete your ritual. And it explains like how to do that. And each haunt is different. So like there's 50 haunts. So there's like tons of difference with the, with like how the game's played. And the rooms can be set up like any way as long as they have the upper. So you, like your rooms can be different, like all of it. So there's a lot of variables in here. Now the survival book, this is for all the ones that are not going to be the traitors. And it has a haunt 26. So like I read that one, pay the piper. So for this one, it says you win when you destroy all the rats or you kill the traitor before he or she gets to the pentagram chamber. So that's how the survivors win. So it'll just tell you, and what you're supposed to do is once you read the haunt, like whoever the haunt revealer is, so who rolled the dice and was less than the haunt, they would like read this, and then depending on the trader, they would hand the trader this, or like if it's an invisible one, they explain the rules, and then all the others get this book, and you're supposed to go in separate rooms so that you're not aware of like each other's like abilities to win or lose. And then so like here's so for like this event card, like if you rolled like, so this underground lake has a little symbol on it right there in the corner, this one, so that means you would draw an event card. So like this one, Hideous Shriek. It starts like a whisper but ends in a soul rendering shriek. Each explorer must attempt a sanity roll. So what that means is you would look at your character thing, see what the sanity is on it. So mine being a 3, I would take 3 dice and roll the sanity. So I rolled a 3. So and it gives you different results. So if I roll 4 or greater, I resist the sound. 1 to 3, take 1 mental damage, and 0, I would take 2 mental damage. So in that case, what would happen is I would come to my character, and I would either move the sanity or the knowledge piece. Come on. So yeah, so see, I would now move either the sanity or the knowledge in the 1 damage. So you can move it either way. It's just the closer you get to death, that's why. So you got to consider what you want. Like, do I want to actually lose 1 in knowledge? Now, if I go down here in sanity, I still have 3, but I'm just 1 step closer to death. Now, and again, if I didn't say it, a character will die regardless if all the others are all the way maxed out, but one of them hits the skull symbol, your character dies. If you're carrying any items or things like that, you would immediately drop them. You can drop and pick up items. There's little tokens that delineate like what item it is. So this is the bell. There's the axe. So you can like, you know, put it down like, okay, this is item 4. So that's the axe. And then each of them allow you to do different things. And then in the haunt, monsters cannot have or use like items. There are some like other rules kind of, but nothing to the main game that I kind of skimmed over. And then, yeah, so that's kind of it for the base game. It's a lot of fun. The more people you play with, the more fun it is. It says it's for 1 to 6 players, or 3 to 6 players, sorry. But we did do it one time with like a group greater than, so we used, we got like printouts of the other side and just used them and found other ones, and we did it, and it was very interesting. But I would highly recommend this game with all 6 players. It makes it way more fun and entertaining. Now also for the rooms, like once they're have been explored, you're like, you don't move into it like during your move, and you wouldn't draw like the omen card unless you stop there. Then you follow it, but you only do it immediately when you are revealing or exploring a new room. And also, one last thing I know I didn't mention, but the rules cover it, but you can't. If you run out of rooms, see it says up, this one could be in all 3 floors. If you run out of rooms, so like if you're upstairs and like this was like, there's no more upstairs, it doesn't matter. It's not like, you just can't go any further. Also, you cannot block off. So like here, there's still doors, but if there was no other doors, so for the sake of like argument, like if I did this and then did like this to block off, you can't do that if there are still rooms available. So whoever's turn it is, they would just have to like rearrange it so that you could still like add on to it. And the rules explain that like in there, but you basically cannot like block it off while there's still rooms available. But that basically covers the board game Betrayal, the house on the hill. I hope y'all enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more content like this, and until next time, y'all have a blessed one and take care.